Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am very excited for today's video because we are outside, and sorry if you can hear the chickens, they're being a little obnoxious right now. But we're going to be doing a little bit of a patio refresh, sort of getting everything ready, gardening a bunch of things. Hi puppy. And planting a bunch of things for the season. I'm really excited. I bought a plant stand off of Amazon that we're going to set up today that I think is going to look so good, and I'm just excited to get this place all springified and everything, and we're just going to do a bunch of gardening and planting. So if you like these sorts of videos, make sure you give it a thumbs up, you subscribe. There's going to be lots of vlogs and videos of flowers and all kinds of gardening things coming up, as well as a room makeover, which I'm currently working on. We planted some peony bushes as well. I'll have to show you guys once those are ready, and it's just going to be a really fun summer. So yeah, I believe that is everything. You're going to see a bunch of animals probably in this video. Let's go ahead and get that plant stand built. Apparently it's time to mow the lawn, and let's get started. So this is what our patio is looking like right now. Actually, a couple years ago it did used to be a deck, and we ended up taking that down, and a couple summers ago my dad and I redid this whole entire space. So we laid some sidewalk, or I guess cement is a better word for it, added some different siding just to add a little bit of contrast, and also when we got a steel roof a couple years ago, they did this little portion that covers the patio. We also have some very basic outdoor furniture that I'll talk a little bit more about later. There's a couple planter boxes that we got from a seller on Facebook Marketplace. We have some fairy lights or string lights all around it, and I think we really just need to give this space a nice refresh and add in some fun spring and summer touches. So first we're going to start by building this plant stand that I found on Amazon. There were a couple different sizes. I got the biggest one. I'll have it linked down below if you're interested. I chose this sort of matte black color because I thought it would add some really nice contrast, and I pretty much already knew where I wanted it to go, so I just thought that it would work perfectly and it fit in that spot really well. As for construction of this, it was very easy to put together, very simple. The only thing that made the building process a little bit difficult was the fact that they did not send enough screws. Now for this project you only need, I want to say maybe it was 6 screws in total, and I think they only sent 4 in the box, and we double checked the packaging, we double checked the big box that it came in, and we could not find it. So basically what we did was we put it together as much as we possibly could. We gave my dad the screw because he was going to Menards, and he basically had to find a match. And given that a couple of the reviews on Amazon said that they also didn't get enough screws, I think that that's something just to keep in mind. It wasn't a huge deal, but it definitely is something that set us back a day or so, and again, just something to think about. And in terms of plant stands, I ended up choosing this one because I have 4 different pots we're going to be putting on this. On Amazon there are so many different options. A lot of them are for 3-tiered trays or 3-tiered stands, so it really just depends on what you're putting together, the type of aesthetic you're going for, and I feel like this is just a really simple option to make a really budget-friendly herb garden and also add a little bit of height and contrast to the space. So I just really loved how this turned out. It's nice and sturdy and is perfect for the area I'm going to be putting it in. Now it is time to start planting our pots for our herb garden. All of these pots are DIYs except for the cream one. That one came from Target, and I made a video all on those aged pots, so I'll have that linked below as well. Super easy, and they look so beautiful, very English garden inspired. And these are the herbs that we're going to be planting. I have some thyme, some lavender, basil, as well as some cilantro. These of course you can choose depending on herbs that you use all the time. We use all of these on the regular, minus the lavender. I honestly just thought that that looked really pretty. And this is the potting mix that I used. It's the Miracle Grow brand, and I like that it was moisture controlling. That way it is harder to overwater or underwater. And now that we have all of our materials together, it's time to start putting these into pots. So I started with the big one, the one that came from Target, and I thought that the basil would look really pretty in here. I love the big leaves. I don't know, I just thought that it looked really pretty. So this pot had a little plug in the bottom, that way you could put it in, take it out, whatever you want to do depending on the plant that you're planting. So we put a little bit of the soil in the bottom. We took out 2 basil plants, and I used 2 plants of each just to make sure that the plants looked really full and lush. Broke the roots apart a little bit, put it in the middle, and then we put some dirt all around the outside. We tried to overfill a little bit because we did water these directly after we were done planting them, and that's pretty much all there is to it. And we're basically just going to do the same thing to the rest of our pots, except for all of my DIY ones, they have drainage holes, and since they'll be sitting on the stand, I didn't want water to get all over it or anything like that, so we did use a little stone to cover up the hole in the bottom. And again, we just did the same steps, put a little bit of soil, broke the roots apart, put it in the center, filled in with a little bit of dirt, and gave them a little bit of water. once all of our herbs were planted and ready to go, we placed them onto the stand. I did the biggest pot on the bottom and then put our smallest towards the top just to make sure the stand was nice and weighed down, and I just thought it looked very visually pleasing. And I love how this turned out. Again, I think keeping in mind the fact that they didn't set enough screws is important to consider, but I think this adds some great height and it just looks very nice. And it's a really fun way to display an herb garden and just give the patio a little bit of life. And speaking of life, it is now time to plant some flowers. Like I said, I found these planter boxes on Marketplace, I want to say a couple years ago, and the seller basically just makes custom plant boxes, and then I picked up some flowers from my local nursery. So here I'll be showing you guys all the different kinds that I use in case you are wondering, but I did want to add a little bit of color, and it was also important that the flowers were either partial sun or full sun because these are in the sun probably 80% of the time. So I started out by putting a rough layout on top of them just to see how everything was going to look. I put my sort of trailing plants on the side, that way they could slowly grow over the edge. And one thing that I did keep in mind is that these plants are probably going to get so big. By the end of summer last year, these plants were huge and my planter boxes were overflowing. So you will notice that there was a good amount of space around them, but I just want to keep in mind that these are going to grow and fill out as time goes on. And another thing that I wanted to mention with these is that this isn't the same potting mix as I showed earlier in this video. This dirt is actually straight from our garden that we fertilize and till, so there's all kinds of nutrients and things in there. And one thing that I forgot to mention earlier is that you'd probably notice that these were covered with wood and had like bricks on top. That was because our cats kept on digging in them, so if you need a hack for something like that, it actually worked really well. So far they haven't been in these garden beds since we put all the flowers in, but we're sort of keeping a watchful eye just to make sure they're not digging in there and making a big mess. And then for the second planter box, this one is going to be a little bit different. For the most part, I tried to keep them symmetrical in terms of number of plants and how everything was sort of laid out. But you may notice that this one has a big scallion plant on it. I noticed that it was overgrown, so the first thing we did was take off all of those flowers, because essentially that's what chives do if they get overgrown, is they basically start to bloom. And while they're very pretty, I did want to give this plant a little bit of TLC. So like I said, this is going to be pretty symmetrical, except it is going to be a little bit fuller since we have that one scallion plant over on the left. Next, we're going to be working on a project that we actually didn't put on our back patio or back porch area, simply because we didn't have a place for them. However, if we did, I definitely would have added this. So that's why I'm going to be including it. We found these on Amazon and they're basically faux floral baskets. And we get flower baskets for our front porch every single year. We find that they can be pretty high maintenance and really hard to actually keep alive and keep vibrant. So this year we decided to explore our options of fake or faux ones. And I'll have this linked down below. I really like the way that this looks. It does come in a few different colors. We did end up going with the multicolored one, but I believe there's also like a purple version, yellow version, and that's basically how all of these blooms are. They just provide multiple packs of the yellow or the purple or whatever color that you choose. And of course, I believe Amazon does have a bunch of options for this sort of thing. This is just the one that we went with. So as you can see, it sort of comes with a styrofoam dome that has a little placeholder that is sort of like a greenery bush. That way, if anything sticks through, you're not going to be seeing styrofoam or anything. It's going to look a lot more realistic. So basically, to put this together, it is super easy. I put the styrofoam underneath the little bush or the little cover. I started with one color and evenly distributed it as best as I could all the way around. Went in with another color, did the same, and just kept on repeating until it was really full and lush. I was debating and I was a little skeptical of how full this was going to look and how realistic. And honestly, I really love how it looks. It does look real real. It looks a little bit fake if you get super close to it, but honestly from far away it looks like a beautiful flower basket, and I just really love the way that it looks. And once I had everything together, all of the flowers were placed, I did put it in the basket. This part is a little bit tricky. I would have assembled it already in the basket, but that didn't work. I tried it with the second one and the styrofoam just kept on falling down, so you do kind of have to mess with it a little bit, but this is how they turned out, and I absolutely love the way these look. I love the metal detail all around, as well as the sort of burlap, very natural layer underneath. I feel like it just looks very English garden, French country style. You guys know that I really love that look. And we also did add a few chains to the top to make it a little bit longer, that way it wasn't super close to the house. And this is how our patio turned out. Very simple. We got all our cushions out for our patio set. We got this patio set from a seller on Facebook Marketplace, and I believe they just buy overstock furniture, put it together, and then they will resell it on there. So that's basically what happened with this set. I love the sort of coffee color of it, and then the cushions are just very simple. I think the flower boxes add a lot of life, and they just add a lot of color. Definitely makes you feel like you're in a beautiful outdoor oasis. I just love the way that it feels. And of course, we cannot forget about the herb garden. I love the pop of green. Again, I love the verticality of this. I think that all of these pots go so well together. Again, if you're interested in that DIY video, I'll have it linked down below, but I think this just looks so good. It adds a little bit of something to the patio. And of course, I did have to include a few adorable shots of our kittens. They love this patio. They love playing all over, chasing each other, and it's just really fun to watch them. So enjoy some cute little clips of them. Alright guys, that does it for today's video. I tried to film the outro outside, then our little air conditioner thing started making noise, and then it was windy, so we're inside right now, but thank you so much for watching today. I'm just really excited to have the patio ready for summer. Love having the cushions out there, and the flowers. That herb garden is so beautiful. Every single time I look at it, it just makes my face light up. I just love it so much, and it's gonna be really fun to see how they do. I have had them in the sun before. I'm hoping that that's gonna go a lot better, but yeah, thank you so much for spending the day with me doing a few different projects in our patio space. I know it's a little bit past gardening season, at least in our area, once this video goes up, but I hope that you guys got a few ideas, especially for those hanging baskets. I feel like you could do those any time of the year if you don't have snow, at least like we do. But make sure that you give the video a thumbs up, you subscribe down below for new homemaking, home decor, and DIY projects every single week. I am so excited to be spending summer with you guys and sharing lots more videos, and just really excited for everything that's to come. But yeah, that is everything. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!